Welcome to chapter 21 of World's Longest Suicide Note. My name is Roger, and while I am suicidal at times, sometimes often, I am not a mental health specialist or professional. I read some books, and that's about all of it. I took some classes in high school and in college. Human sexuality. I like the pictures. Anyway, let's get on with this. I'm toning this canvas. Probably doesn't make sense to you what it is it's going to be. We're going to talk about meanings later as we go. At some point. There's no master plan. This is the 21st episode, so I wanted to kind of reiterate. But every 20, I kind of want to reintroduce the purpose so I don't lose it myself. But lately I found that my mental health has suffered, and being that I'm suicidal, meaning that for the last 25 years I have attempted many times, both actively and passively, to kill myself. And what I've noticed is as things get worse, my suicidality increases. And I know that I'm probably in that area more than I want to be. Duh. So I'm feeling it more than I have. And so part of, these videos is a way for me to talk. One thing I'm always advocating for is that each person has within them the ability to advocate for themselves and to be in charge of their lives, in terms of managing it. You don't have to, I don't need authorization to make a video and talk about my feelings. I've authorized myself to do that. And this is something I've never done before. And I figured, well, when you're dealing with things, and you don't, things are getting worse, and you see that, and you want to be proactive, doing something is better than doing nothing. Somebody said, there's a quote, and who knows who attributed, but basically, the best thing you could do, I'm going to try to remember it. The best thing that you could do is the right thing. The second best thing you could do is the wrong thing. The worst thing you could do is nothing. So basically the idea is like act. Act on whatever. Do something. And that's really what sparked these videos, is that I felt like I got to do something because I'm in a place that's not healthy, and I got to be honest that when you're suicidal, it ramps things up. If someone was just coming into, they were fairly new to mental illness and they hadn't gone to the depths of despair like I have, as far as they don't have that background or have covered as much ground. Well, it may take them a long time to get to the place where they're thinking about suicide, and then even longer to get into that. And so, but for me, things now have evolved to the point where it doesn't take a lot of negativity to put me in a place where I am contemplating, and I also want to be very aware. There's a huge difference between thinking about suicide and planning it, or being the intent to carry that out. But that being said, for somebody in my condition who's been around it for so long, and honestly has not talked about it nearly as much as I should have been doing it, my mind goes there quicker than most people's. I've kind of trained myself, and I don't mean train myself as actively trained. This was not something I was trying to do, but it doesn't matter. We train ourselves to think and feel a certain way about us, given a certain set of parameters. We train ourselves over time on how to deal with that, and what and a lot of it I've talked to you about setting anxiety traps, and things based on experiences that you're going to have, or that you've had in the past, that you think, okay, in dealing with X, Y, or Z, this is how I should feel based on my past experience with it. And a lot of times, so you're setting yourself up for anxiety and that kind of thing. And the same thing with suicide. I find myself going there more and quicker, depending on what the situation is, and what what my response to it is. So I don't have a lot of buffer, and I need to be aware of that. Because I could, if I'm not aware of it, I can go past guardrails that I kind of set for myself. Because for me, my mentality is fluctuating dramatically throughout the day, and I do it on purpose. I'm constantly checking myself. How am I feeling? What's going on? And I have to do that, because if I allow the downward spiral to last for any length of time, it could be very detrimental to, especially jumping to suicide as quickly as my mind does now. It's a weird adaptation that, the longer you live with this, the harder it is just to live with it. Does that make sense? Or is that so profound that no one will ever understand it? It's sometimes I catch myself in thinking a dark thought, and within the length of a song on the car, in the radio. Not radio. Song comes on, and it evokes a memory or whatever, and then something happens while you're driving, and then you get upset, and before you know it, you're like wishing it would be over, and it happens quick, and so I have to be very aware of where I'm at, and so and being actually talking about it helps me, in the sense that I think then that people understand a little bit more what it's like, and the responsibility that I have to make sure that I'm doing everything, I'm being diligent, that I'm doing the work that I need to do to make sure that I'm sticking around. So these things, these videos have been great, and I'm going to keep going with them because it's given me things that I think about myself. Because again, once I start talking, and this is why it's so critical to talk. I've learned things just from speaking to you about my thoughts and feelings that I hadn't really thought about before. But as I'm talking about it, it allows other things to come up and questions to occur, and before you know it, you feel like something has made progress, or something has been made clearer in your mind. So I'm gonna, go out on a limb. It's not really going out on a limb. I think that we need to communicate, and these things that are so hard to communicate about these topics, and these things that are really hard to quantify verbally, it makes us figure out how to say these things. And so it's been an exercise for me in trying to tell a story and make the words have enough gravity to express what I'm trying to say. And so yes, it doesn't matter how long you've dealt with something. You feel very, like I say, suicide is like a warm fire on a cold night. There's I see it as a comforting thing, and I don't want to romanticize in any way, but that's where I'm at with it, and I desperately want to stay as long as I possibly can, as long as I'm useful and of service, because that makes me feel good, and I love being of service. It's awesome, and so yeah, that's what we're doing here, and I do appreciate everything. I appreciate you watching the videos. I appreciate you being here for me, and allowing me the space to do that. So more to come. Yeah, as I find a way to stumble around this whole idea, this whole topic, and hopefully learn a little bit more about it and about myself and how the two relate together. So thank you. Have an amazing day. Fight hard. And I will catch you in the next one. Take care.